So I think the first thing I would say, and I kept drumming it into myself when I started the business, is technology is not the product, it's just an enabler.
Hello, and welcome to Bossing Up with Jola. This is a show designed to help young African women take charge of their businesses and their careers, and by so doing, take charge of their lives. We hear a lot about the digital age and how you should take advantage of the internet to make money, to build your career and all of that, and even to build a business. But sometimes it can be very overwhelming. What do you do? How do you start? Do you need a website? Do you need social media? My guest today is going to help us and teach us basically how to build an online business on a budget, because she's done it 2 times over and with bare minimum resources. Basically, you have everything you need. That's most of what she's going to be telling you. So let's say welcome to Mofe. Hi, Mofe.
Hi, Jara.
So just introduce yourself and tell us what you do.
So my name is Mofe, and I'm the sweetheart-in-chief of JaraCake.com. And Jara Cake is an Amazon for cakes in Nigeria, and we help you. So let's say today is your dad's birthday and you forgot and you literally just remembered. We're the ones you come to, and we help you find cakes across 23 plus states in Nigeria.
So basically last minute and
yes.
Express delivery.
Express, yes.
And
yes.
Same day. So if you just remember today,
you can get
cakes. It's a very novel idea. It's so unique. It must have come out of, say, personal experience. How did you come up with the idea for the business?
So it's both actually personal experience and research. So I had done a variation of the idea during my master's, but that was for food, not cake. And when I came back to Nigeria, I found out that we had a place to aggregate people who sell drinks, place to aggregate people who have like restaurants, but there wasn't anything like that for cake that I found online. And there wasn't anything for like express cake. So it was my mom's birthday and I'd literally forgotten to get, and everyone was saying they wanted 48 hours notice, 24 hours notice minimum to order. And I'm like, it cannot be this difficult to find a good cake
at short notice.
And that's literally where the idea was birthed from.
So, I know you, she's my friend. I have to plug that in. Yes, I have amazing friends. So, I know that you started the business with basically almost nothing. Like, you started with bare minimum resources. I wasn't exaggerating when I said that. So, a lot of people want to start businesses online. We're in the age now where people are looking for an extra income. They're looking for an income on the side. And one of the most convenient ways to do that is on the internet, because you literally can make millions from just your desk.
Yes.
So, how can people go about starting an online business with like bare minimum resources? Like, I just want to start, I have this idea, I know it's going to work as an e-commerce website, it's going to work online. How can I start with the little that I have now?
So I think the first thing I would say, and I kept drumming it into myself when I started the business, is technology is not the product, it's just an enabler. And you can't try to force a solution out of a problem that doesn't exist. And so the first thing you have to think about is there actually a problem here, and are there people who are experiencing this problem? So for me, for instance, we know Nigeria, we have a reputation for last minute, rushing. And you only need to go to some popular bakeries here in Nigeria and you see like their front shop packed with cars for people who just want to go and pick up physical cake off the shelf. So I'm like, if I have this problem, there must be a handful of other people who have it. But that is still an assumption that you have to kind of test. I think one of the things that I see why people have money issues when they're thinking about starting an online business is they think about building everything up front like an Amazon or Alibaba. None of them actually started that way, but we see them today and we think that is how we have to start. So the first thing is first have a problem that you want to solve, and then go about trying to solve that problem in the most minimum and basic way. And so what I would say for me when I started was, I would break it down into like 3 things. So the first is the idea, the problem that you're trying to solve. Have that, know exactly what the problem is, who are those you're trying to attract. So that's one. The second is the people. So for me, I didn't have a tech background. I studied law for a very long time, did a bit of practice, but then this was like my first real step into the whole tech space. I didn't know anyone either, but I knew I had my laptop, I had Google, and I had time. And that literally was the best thing that I could have had. And then the third thing you need to think about is your finance. So how much really do you need to have, if everything was like
emphasis
set?
On need.
Yes.
Yeah.
How much do you actually need? And then the fourth thing is, what is your day one? So what is your day one means And every idea can be started the day that you think about it. And starting is very related to what the problem you're trying to solve. So let me give an example for me. So the idea was, okay, so there are bakers who have cakes, who do cakes last minute, who have urgent cakes, and there are customers who are looking for, and there is a disconnect. So for instance, if uni in the UK, I want to get my mom a cake. I can't fly into Nigeria to get her a cake. But how do I find a baker online who is trustworthy, and how can I buy without leaving the country, right? So you have those blocks. And so I see, so you have the baker, you have the buyer, and then you have me as the middle person. How do I test that kind of idea? It could be as simple as just taking a directory of bakers who do last minute cakes, for instance, putting up a landing page, who needs a cake, and just seeing how many cakes. There is always a simpler way. But because we usually try to create the whole grand thing, exactly from the beginning, it all depends on the kind of idea you want to run, but there is a day one for every idea. And if you look at, so there's a company, Dropbox, a huge company now, but when they started, they just created an explainer video explaining what they wanted to do, right? So there are different ways to actually test, take the first step. Exactly. Some people just create, some people just ask friends. There's always a day one to every idea that doesn't require you to spend a lot of money, and you have to spend more than half of your time trying to figure out what that is before spending so much money on an idea that nobody wants or that isn't viable.